recent limited budget food challenge videos, one of the things that kept on coming up in the comments is, should have gone to Aldi or Lidl. Well, okay, that's an interesting idea, so let's put that to the test. So I wrote up a really basic shopping list, and we're going to buy this shopping list in every supermarket I have access to in my local area. So our list is going to be 500 grams of pasta shapes, a tin of tomatoes, a tin of baked beans, a tin of chicken and vegetable soup, a tin of tuna chunks in oil, a box of instant tomato mug soups, a litre of UHT shelf-stable milk, a tin of rice pudding, a jar of strawberry jam, a box of Cheerios or something similar, and a packet of digestive biscuits. So we're not going to get too hung up on the absolute weight of these products. The idea is, can we put these things on the table? We're going to go for standard size cans and packets as much as we can. There will be a little bit of variance from one offering to another, but we're just going to ignore that. What price does it cost to put these things on the table? And we're also going to look at more perishable foods. So I'm going to have a look at the cheapest loaf of sliced bread, a tub of margarine or butter, 2 kilogram bag of potatoes or larger, a kilo of carrots or larger, a bag with at least 3 onions in it, a cheapest bag of citrus fruits, a packet of pork sausages, a packet of bacon, and a box of 6 medium eggs. Now, if any of the stores I visit doesn't have the thing I want on the list, I will kind of choose the next item up in terms of price and scale and quality. We are going to be seeking the cheapest version of all of these in each store. So, let's go shopping. Okay, now a few of you in previous videos have questioned my use of a trolley for such a small shop, or indeed ridiculed me for taking a trolley for such a small shop. Well done for noticing that detail. However, there is one small point that may have escaped your razor-sharp attention, which is, in order to make the videos, I have to carry a camera. So, this is the result of all of the non-perishable shopping. I've lined it up here from cheapest to most expensive by store, and we'll have a look and see which store was the cheapest for the non-perishable. If you can hear a tapping noise in the background, by the way, it's pouring with rain outside, and that's just the water on the window, just in case you noticed that. So, let's have a rundown of what we actually bought. So, it did end up being more or less the same shopping basket from nearly every store that I went to. There are a couple of places where I had to deviate from my intended shopping list, and I'll explain those on the way. So, the most expensive store at £10.39 for this shop was Co-op. And Co-op, I had to get a tub of rice pudding rather than a tin. Next was M&S. I don't think that's a massive surprise that M&S is up the top end of the scale here. Marks and Spencer's. Now with Marks and Spencer's, they did not have any kind of packet instant soup, so I had to buy a couple of tins of tomato soup. If we were going to make a mug of soup, we'd have to open a tin and heat it in the mug. So I felt like, whilst that cost a little bit more, that's the compromise we had to make when we shopped at M&S. Next most expensive, Waitrose at £9.24 for that bag of shopping. Next, B&M stores. Now B&M stores I've always thought of as a kind of a bargain type of store, but it really kind of wasn't. And a lot of the reason for that is because it was all brands. And so instead of getting cheapy rice pudding, we had to buy Ambrosia. For tuna, we had to get John West. For cup of soup, we had to get cup of soup. And again, it was HP baked beans. It was all very branded stuff. I think for the biscuits, yeah, we had to get McVitie's. So that's all they had. So I think that's why it was probably cheaper than buying those brands elsewhere, maybe. But because they had no own brand alternative, it was expensive. So next most expensive, Home Bargains. Perhaps not actually Home Bargains. Maybe that should be called Some Bargains. Anyway, moving on. So next most expensive was Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's at £7.25 for this bag of shopping. Next, Morrison's. And now we're down into the top four. So, fourth place, Tesco, £5.60. Third place, Lidl, £5.46. Now, Lidl is not in the top two. That's interesting, isn't it? Second place, Asda, £5.20. And top place, Aldi, £4.56. So Aldi on the non-perishable goods for this shopping basket was the cheapest of the lot. Now what's really interesting here is when we compare the most expensive to the least expensive, we are paying basically more than twice as much for the co-op shop for the same products as we would in Aldi. How about that? So that's the non-perishable, and what I did is I took that all and put that into a spreadsheet, and then we can apply some kind of heat mapping to it, and we can see which items are good and bad for each store. But obviously we've got a trend here going from left to right, and we can see that Aldi is consistently cheap, and as we go up the scale, the cheap things tend to drop off, although there are a few surprises across there on the right where we get a cheap item in a more expensive store. So obviously buying all of the perishable things would have been a stupid idea, because that would end up with lots of food spoiling. So I just cited the prices of all of the perishable items in each store, and I've bashed those into my spreadsheet as well, and let's have a look at what difference that makes. When I went round and shopped for the perishable items, a couple of interesting things happened. Firstly, B&M stores had to fall out of the race because the store I visited did not have any chilled or perishable items. They only had the tins and packets. I don't know if that's true of all B&M stores, but it's certainly true of the one I visited. The other really interesting thing that happened is Asda took the lead over Aldi for the perishable items, and this took Asda into the lead in total as well. So our final rundown for the full shopping list is Asda in the lead at £11.87, Aldi at £12 and a penny, Tesco at £12.70, Lidl at £13 and 8p. Now interesting to note that again, Co-op is nearly twice the price of Asda in total. Conclusions. Well, on this shop, Asda is cheaper than Aldi, Tesco's cheaper than Lidl. Aldi's still a good price. But actually in terms of what you can get in all four of those shops, it really does depend on what you're shopping for. So why are people saying that Aldi and Lidl are the cheapest? Well, it could be that this is a bit of an uncharacteristic shopping list. This shopping list is for absolute basics. Now it might well be that if you do a regular shop that's got cheese and meat and cakes and coffee in it, that Aldi and Lidl will beat the competition. The other way that Aldi and Lidl might be cheaper than other supermarkets is that there is just limited choice there. And so there is less opportunity for impulse buys, less opportunity for those things where you buy two different flavours of the same thing. That restricted choice does also mean sometimes you end up paying over the odds. For example, in Lidl, if you want to get strawberry jam, you're only getting their brand of strawberry jam, and it's more expensive than the other supermarkets. So even though that wasn't completely scientific, I hope you still found that interesting. I certainly did. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.